Okay, guys, in the interest of safety and along our new parameters, really they're not that new, but I'm really just taking a few setups a day that I really like and putting out calls on that. So I literally only called 3 stocks today. Had a huge miss in Pepsi that somebody in our chat room alerted as it started that volume pop, and I looked away and never caught the entry for the group. So my bad on that one, because Pepsi was a monster and met all of our parameters, PEP, but I missed it. So I'll show you. You know what? I'll start with the loser today. CEDC, big volume in that opening 5-minute candle. All right, very big volume for this one. As a matter of fact, if I scroll back several days, see how the volume in the first 5 minutes really stands out, and you don't see any volume. So that had it on watch for me. That coupled with the daily chart had a huge pop to over 8 a few weeks ago on 10 million shares. So the gap up today, I thought, hey, we might get a move back up towards that 8. And so I called it over this little inside candle here as an idea early. Now, typically I won't call a trade in the first 15 minutes, preferably not the first 30. I like the chaos to subside, but I kind of broke my own rules here and called CEDC at 710. Worst case stop below this candle, 692. It gave a tighter stop, as I said, over the air in our chat room at 695. Not much different though. But there was the trigger, and look what happens to things in the first 15, 20 minutes. You can get a little move up. I thought for sure it was going to at least retest the high of the day and then right back down. And I said, you know what, I got to stop these early trades. So, and it didn't do much the rest of the day, just straight sideways. Maybe worth watching tomorrow. 4 million something shares today. But anyway, then the only other two I called today, GG, see this daily bottoming tail there? We caught this in our chat room very close to the bottom of the day. I called it right here on this green candle. GG, 49.51. Stop was only 13 cents below. And as you can see, it's gone to, and the market's still open here for a few more minutes, it's gone to 50.68, so well over $1 on 13 cents risk. Held most of that one all day, very nice. And then Express Scripts, which was in our video yesterday, just took off to the downside again today and called Express Scripts ESRX long at 40.24 on this green candle right here. Called it live in our chat room. Stop was at the low of the day, so stop was a little wide at 37 cents below. From 40.24, this went to 41.86, so a nice move again at what, like $1.60 something in our favor on 37-cent risk. And you can see it never looked back once it triggered. So there's the 3 trades from today, and the only failure was the early trade, which makes sense. And then Pepsi, using our methods, PEP, after this volume pop, somebody, Frederick from our chat room, alerted it, and then I looked away. That was my mistake, because it gave, sellers came in right here after this volume pop. Whenever you get a big volume pop, let me take that red candle out. You ever get a big volume pop, you can assume that stock probably had news. Do you need to look up the news and see what it is? In my opinion, no, because I'm not smart enough to even know if the news is good news or bad news for, or something might sound like good news and the stock can react opposite and so on. So the best thing to do is to keep it on your watch list and then watch it form with some logic in your thinking, okay? So now you've got a volume pop and you say to yourself, well, what's the news on Pepsi? I don't care, right? Let's just see what happens. Sellers are stepping in here. So again, you don't need to know the news. Sellers only sell for one reason. Here come the sellers. They only sell because they think they can push it back down and even lower. Maybe the news was bogus and everyone who just knee-jerked into it is in trouble now and they're going to start selling and give a nice short. Rather than that, I would like to watch the battle ensue, okay? Now again, I didn't call this in chat, even though Frederick posted this volume pop. I got sidetracked and just looked away. Whenever you get a volume pop and a little breakout like that on an intraday basis, that should stay on your watch list and you should watch it form and you might get a nice setup, okay? So back to my thinking here. Sellers come in. Whoops, let me try that again. Sellers come in right on that red candle right there. They could only push it down this far so far, right? So now you start to think, hey, this news might be for real. You've got a high and a lower high. The long on this, the way I teach, would have been 61.68. And the worst case, in other words, if it breaks this candle here on the next candle, if it breaks 61.67. So 61.68 with a stop below this candle, 61.57. 11 cents risk the way I teach. And there's your trigger. Whoops. There's your trigger. Your stop holds. Next thing you know, it's through the high of the original pop. And you've still got the high of day as a possible break and another catalyst. And look at that thing. All the way over 63.50 on about 11 cents risk. Now I'm showing this and try, I hope I hope it doesn't seem like I'm trying to sound like, hey, I called this for our group, because I didn't. But our chat room was on it, and I just made a mistake of looking away. So whenever I screw up and walk away from a great setup, or don't keep a chart on watch, I like to, as they say, wear the hat and take the blame. But that, and I don't know that anyone in our chat room got it, but that's the way to play something like that. That way you don't really have to know the news. You can just play the chart. All right, I'm not going to babble any further. Appreciate, if you're a member, I appreciate all the teamwork in there. Some great alerts today. And if you're not a member, we'll put out another video from tomorrow's highlights after the market closes tomorrow. Have a good night.